Brandon, I see a lot of women that, they come to me because they feel changes. And a lot of times they feel changes in their body with their weight composition or body composition in general. And maybe they haven't made the best choices. Maybe they haven't really focused on fitness or nutrition. And now suddenly they've gained 20 pounds overnight because they're in menopause. And so, which is very common that I hear that in the office. And so, what would you tell someone to give them? I really love the fact that our podcast, we like to bring hope to our listeners. What would you tell a woman who comes in to see me, and she has gained 20 pounds overnight, not really, put a lot of focus on herself? She's been taking care of children or parents or working a full-time job. What would you tell her to bring her some hope for how she can still, like, it's not too late. She can still improve. But what would you, as a fitness expert and a nutrition expert, what would you tell them to give them some hope?
Absolutely. So I have this conversation probably every day. I will tell you my average, I have a lot of like back end stats that I run on my clientele base, and 60% of my clientele are women. And then the average age of the person that I work with is 48 years old as of my roster right now. So I'm working with a demographic of women, especially that are going through perimenopause or really transitioning into menopause, because at least in my clinical experience, I'm seeing a lot of people that are transitioning into menopause a little bit earlier than I did previously. If you look at the average age of menopause, the literature shows 51 to 52 years old, but I have personally seen younger women than that, a few years. But I always try to get across the fact that anything is possible if you are willing to make a change. And so what may have worked, it's really about unlearning what you've done previously and being willing and open-minded to taking a different approach going forward. One conversation I find myself often having with women that are in that transitionary period, so they're in their late 40s into their mid 50s, is what you did previously may have gotten you a result, but it's no longer getting you that result. So we need to do something differently. It can't be just about quick fixes. It can't be about aggressive deficits and aggressive diets and really trying to just focus on scale weight alone, because not to be fatalistic, but at that point or that juncture in life, you are more susceptible to lean mass loss or to bone mineral density loss. And that is not going to be recoverable if you consecutively do that like you did in your 20s. Your body's a little bit less forgiving. However, the really encouraging part of this is that our bodies are so adaptable, both positively and negatively. So it adapts to your habits, your behaviors, your actions, and your decisions. And if you decide to take a step forward and make better habits around nutrition, lifestyle, training, movement, and you do things that are conducive for your physiology, for your development, and you can look at this as a long-term investment, meaning it's not just about the short term. It's not what I can do for 6 or 8 weeks. It's what can I do for the next 12 months. It will have positive compounding effects where you're essentially looking at this as a bank or an investment portfolio, where you are investing into your body composition, into your lean muscle mass, into your longevity, into your functionality. And really looking at this as treating your body as a lifelong partner. I find that many people 40 and below, they kind of look at their body as something that, I don't want to say it's like manageable, but they're not looking at it in the same light as, hey, I got to be in the same body for the rest of my life, and I can't be taking sacrifices or doing things that could potentially compromise my functionality, my health, my risk, or my injury risk, things of that sort. And then after 40, people start realizing, hey, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to continue with the sleep deprivation or, the high intensity workouts or the alcohol, misuse and things of that sort. So really, I try to get across to women that it's never too late. I've literally had women on my roster 60 plus years and older that have gotten into photo shoot shape. I have many women in their 50s that are past menopause or postmenopausal that are in the best shapes of their lives. That's really come from a strategic approach.